Michigan Peace and Liberty Coalition is proud to present the 5th Annual Midwest Peace and Liberty Fest. It will be held at the Circle Pine Center in Delton, Michigan, just outside of Kalamazoo, starting Thursday, June 22nd, and going through Monday, June 26th. That's right, the Liberty Fest is getting longer and stronger. There will be presentations, discussions, bacon duels, and outdoor activities in an environment that is both family and grown-up friendly. There will be special appearances by Jeffrey Tucker, Dana Martin, and a few of the Freedom Fiends. If you have only talked about what a free society would look like, this is your chance to live it and see it with your own eyes. Now round up your friends and family and get them registered today at mplfest.org. And there's a discount for paying with Bitcoin. That's mplfest.org. Dogs welcome, longer leashes recommended.
Show me on the blockchain, especially as you were talking about before, Richard, about how you could search back on stuff like this so easily and look backwards. Well, yeah, find it for me. Find me your higher, earlier claim than mine. Okay, you can't? Then leave me the F alone. This is my goddamn property. Get off my fucking lawn.
Seeds of liberty. 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 Seeds of liberty.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 112th episode of the Seeds of Liberty podcast. As always, we are covered by a BIPCOT no government license. This allows reuse by anyone except governments and the agents thereof. You can find out more information about this at bipcot.org. So I am Jeremy. I am joined as always by Dave and Andre. What's up, guys?
Hey, what's going on, man?
We are brought to you this week by Discord. And as always, by Room for Freedom, and to steal a line from Jim Jesus, there's nothing there yet, but there will be. So check out roomforfreedom.com. This week, we have a special guest. We have Richard Amores from OsForensics. The website is osforensics.us. He is how would you describe yourself, Richard? A crypto surveillance expert, I think was the title I saw given you somewhere. Would that be accurate? Or
Bitcoin geek is more like it, okay?
Bitcoin geek. I like that title.
There you go. There you go. That's right up Dave's alley.
So, so Bitcoin geek, we can work with that. So welcome to the show, Richard. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Pleasure.
All right. So you were brought to my attention by a personal friend of ours, and he said that we should have you on the show. So I took a look at what you're doing and figured, why not talk to you, especially with all the recent hype going on with the crypto market going crazy, and more and more people being introduced to the crypto world finally. It's exciting times. So I figure now is as good a time as any to talk about all this type of stuff. So why don't we start off if I guess the technology that you're kind of pimping your program. I saw you sent me something. You were just interviewed by Jamie Redmond in the Cointelegraph, right? I think that just came out recently, only a couple days ago. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
Jamie's a cool dude.
Yeah. Somebody else we should probably get on the show eventually. But yeah,
he's been slated to come on like 5 times between me and him, just messaging back and forth. And just for some reason, something always either we forget or something happens. So
well, that's good.
Maybe we should nail that down.
Anything I can leave in your court, Dave, is excellent for me. So yeah, let's blame it on you. It's great. It's all your fault. That's why we have it on Jamie Redmond. So yeah, the folks, if you've been looking for Jamie Redmond, it's all Dave's fault. But anyway, back to you, Richard. Why don't you tell us, if you don't mind, this technology that we want to discuss here tonight, what it's called, what it's about, and what it is you're doing over there at OS Forensics.
Yeah, give us the sales pitch. Give us the sales pitch.
I'll give you the little elevator pitch over here. Basically, about a year ago, one of my customers was talking to me, and I was mainly doing dark web stuff, but I wrote a Bitcoin book a long time ago. So I've been dabbling in Bitcoin, writing wallet codes and stuff like that. But they asked me, this was a company that's more looking for the military and the intelligence community. And they said, well, Bitcoin wallets, we can kind of follow them around and stuff like that, but we can't really physically touch them. And that didn't ring true to me. And I'm more a network guy than anything else. And I got into software basically because it was cool to have software running on the web, which everybody could use. I started looking at the protocol because we all know Bitcoin runs on top of the internet, okay? And people don't understand. Just like you have one line coming into your house, you have mail, you have this set up over here, you have your web. This is more, you have a line coming in, it goes into an apartment building is the way I use it. And each different port is a different type of communication. Port 80 is for your web, 25 is for your mail. Bitcoin happens to run on port 8333. Now, that to me was something interesting because when I monitored it, I did see some things out there. And let's just face it, if you go to blockchain.info and you look at any transactions, you'll see a little IP address down there with a little map. So, what was this all about? Now, this has been going on since the beginning as far as blockchain.info is concerned. I started looking at that and seeing if I can verify what these IP addresses were and if they were hooked up to something. And actually, the more I dug into it, the more clear it became that a lot of it does come across. In other words, it's not hiding your Bitcoin, going through a mixing service or buying different coins and then back to hide your wallet. If we focus on the transactions, that's a little bit different because the transaction is when the public ledger meets the network. And it has to be, we have to, the miners win the 25 Bitcoins and then they actually, put all the transactions in there. At that point in time, we know that the first full node that transmitted transaction, that's the one IP address that we will grab. Network does that automatically. Of course, this is mainly if you have a CLI command line interface wallet, the big ugly ones. Mm-hmm. If you have a normal wallet, web wallet and stuff like that, the web wallet doesn't actually, you have it, but it actually sends a transaction to its own server. Yeah. So this is kind of like the way the technology works, and you can't really mess with it too much. Now, if you have a couple of $100 on Bitcoin, hey, a web wallet is fine. When you see bad guys with $1 million, okay, they're going to have their own CLI, command line interface wallet where they can do some interesting kind of wallet manipulation. So this is where, you have to look at the bad guys, what they're doing, how they're doing it. I mean, one of the things that we see all the time, we see a transaction coming in, it drops off $1 in this wallet, and then it goes $5,000 goes to another wallet. You look at that, it has 2 transactions. Comes in, out in 10 minutes. That's normal, confirmation. It goes to the second wallet. Once again, 2 transactions going in and out. And you can see these things, sometimes they go to 9, 10 wallets, and they're all most of them are all 2 transactions in there. Now, why do you do this? Unless you're trying to hide your wallet somehow. Now, the funny thing is that we can also look at the date your wallet was created. So, what I do is I look at these, sometimes when I see these 2 transaction wallets, I check them out. And they're usually all on the same date they were created. Usually, you'll also see out of those two transaction wallets, you'll see that they'll send like that, $5,000 to this wallet, but they'll send $1.50 to another wallet with 1 transaction. Now, why do you do that? Because that 1 transaction will later become a 2 transaction wallet that they'll use later. This is a way to, once again, kind of, hide your wallet somehow. Yeah, well, but you really can't hide it. I mean,
it's attempted obfuscation, and that's all it is.
Well, yeah, but I mean, based on the fact that the government's always trying to get a hold of as much as it can anyway, I don't necessarily. I mean, because you referred to the the bad guys. I mean, I would just question like what do you mean by bad guys though? Because your definition of bad guys and my definition of bad guys may not be the same. I don't know.
No. I'm if it's the sex trade, if it's child pornography, if it's arms, if it's anything having to do with major crime. I think this is where like I said, I'm not giving this out publicly to anybody on purpose, not just because I want to make money, because I am, a capitalist, okay? But the thing is, I don't want this to get into the wrong hands. This will give you the physical location of those wallets, and that's amazing. Now, I can't do every transaction. So far, I've been able to get a third of the. If you got 100 transactions, I'll probably get about 30 of them that will show me the IP address, the host name of where you're running, your wallet at. And a lot of these guys are run it on a server, just like on Amazon servers or any other place that they have server farms. And you can pay with Bitcoins too, so you can kind of be a little bit anonymous. But if I can get you physically to that place with an IP address is called a layer 3 on the network. Layer 2 is actually the MAC address, which is the physical. Yeah. So, I don't want to go to that layer 2 because, that's hacking. Okay. And I want to try to stay, you know what I mean?
It will eventually. It'll be a point. It will come where you will not be able to hide.
Exactly.
And when that happens, this is the hopeful, right? This is going to happen regardless of any state actor or anybody doing anything. This is just going to happen due to technology, AI, microphones and cameras being in like your toaster, your pack of gum you just threw away.
Out of my kitchen,
it's going to be insane. This is a way to go ahead and route the controllers. This is a way to decentralize it. And Bitcoin does that essentially. It came at the right time. Boy, did it come at the right time.
Yeah, I really think it did, and I love the fact that from Bitcoin has
because the politicians can't even hide,
Right, but I like the fact that it spawned like a ton of other technologies that have just built upon it. Like there's so much you can do with the blockchain. It's incredible.
Well, let me give you an example. I was hired by a Wall Street firm. I'll say, okay. The bond market, okay? People say the bond market. What the heck is that? The bond market only has 2 major players in the world, one in the United States and one in Europe. And the bond market is basically, these bonds they sell and stuff like that. When they cash out, they have all these middle managements that they just sign the paper. Okay, this is fact. Now, what they want to do is they want to use the blockchain to actually, with smart contracts, be able to get rid of all these middle managements. Pretty much, you can eliminate the entire bond market, the bond managers, I should say,
the humans that run the bond market. Yeah,
exactly. Because all of this is a transaction. If this is valid, then this is good. If it's not valid, it doesn't. So the logic is there. And this was about 2 years ago, and Wall Street is loving this because, just a private blockchain is fantastic for them. If all the central banks only use their own private blockchain, which only they can have access to, this could be totally, them and nobody else. We can't see it because we can't join that.
Yeah. And that's the problem with technology. Whenever you do create a technology, whenever a capitalist or whatever creates a technology, the socialists unfortunately get to leech off that as well. So yeah, it's going. We have to just keep out innovating them. They always are a lagging indicator,
Absolutely. It's interesting for the Bitcoin magazine. One of the questions was, what's the best wallet to use, the safest wallet to use? And my question, I kind of answered it a little bit, but to me was, what's the safest transaction that you can make? If you're trying to hide, okay, you're trying to buy your porn or whatever. Whatever reason you want to hide your Bitcoins, there's ways to do it. But if you make one mistake in the blockchain, we will capture it. And since we go back in time, the number of transactions, like I found one wallet which has $500 million. That's pretty sizable, but it's got 700,000 transactions, and it's only 2 years old. Okay, so when you look at that, $500 million flowing through this wallet. Okay, something interesting here. Okay.
Well,
But,
I wouldn't want all those ducks in one basket. That's just
I wouldn't either, but couldn't that? I mean, something like that, especially in the past 2 years, couldn't. I mean, and this may just be my naivety when it comes, because I'm more of a crypto nerd noob than well, maybe on
CIA's
level.
supercomputers. They're
but
hacking everyone's accounts.
No, but couldn't that?
They're sending the Bitcoin to one George Soros account.
That many
Okay.
transactions, couldn't that just be somebody trading in Bitcoin? Especially
Well,
over the past couple of years, as the price has skyrocketed from $200 to almost $3,000.
Right,
at the present
exactly.
moment.
Yeah, well, I found actually one of the wallets.
That could be like a Forex,
Well-
beasts. Who knows?
It's also places where investors play with, because once again, I don't follow the coin value, because the value to me was never what I really liked. I don't care what the price is. Like I said, I wish I would have kept the early ones I bought, but
So then you do care about
Yeah,
the price.
all
It's
the-
just
yeah, we do care, but
Well, I mean, everyone wants more money.
I hear you, but my kids spent that at $100 a pop, and they could have kept those bitcoins. Oh my god! But it's going in a direction that you can't stop the Bitcoin market. You can't stop Ethereum. You can't stop the other players out there, because, like Ethereum is something different, because it's more contract manipulation than anything
Smart
else.
contracts.
Yeah. And the smart contracts are the best. I think that they're the best, because once you set it up, like, when I die, I want to make sure that my kids get 100 Bitcoins every month or whatever. I can set this up in a smart contract, and nobody can cheat me. No one could can kill that contract. You see, that's
Yeah,
what
Arbiter
it's
can't
immutable.
spoof
It's
some
immutable.
stuff and gets change the will and not tell anybody. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Oh, we were
exactly.
we were talking about this in another conversation earlier today, about the use of blockchains to replace, say, the deeds for houses,
Yeah.
or just property in general. Like,
Yeah.
how do you manage property without the state? Put your deed on the blockchain. There's your claim to ownership right there. Somebody tries to tell you they have a higher
decentralized
claim.
registry.
Where?
So easy.
Show it to me. Show me on the
Exactly.
blockchain. Whereas, especially as you were talking about before, Richard, about how you could search back on stuff like this so easily and look backwards. Well, yeah, find it for me. Find me your higher, earlier claim than mine. Okay, you can't? Then leave me the F alone. This is my goddamn property. Get off my fucking lawn.
Yeah,
And-
exactly. And that's the really cool part about the blockchain. It's
And then also the thing of becoming your own bank, like giving loans essentially to people.
yeah, you can do that on Poloniex.
Yeah, I was just learning
the
about
Poloniex
this. I had
exchange?
no idea about this. I just saw somebody talking about this on Facebook the other day. I'm
This
like,
just
that's
totally
really
routes
interesting.
their whole system, man, because this is also not a usury based system. So like their entire system is based off usury. So once like you can add a layer of usury onto Bitcoin, right? After the fact, but just straight as it is, it's not any interest on it at all. It's a
Yeah.
deflationary currency.
Well, I mean, we're talking about all these positive things, which is great, because I love the blockchain and Bitcoin and all these things for all these reasons. But getting back to the topic at hand here, the one thing that the question just popped into my head, Richard, because you're talking about how you've worked largely with law enforcement and stuff like that, right? Is that the type of
Well, I work for private companies. too,
Okay,
actually.
but you're talking about going after the bad, like the actual bad actors, the people that are committing actual crimes, right? Like like the type of stuff that you mentioned, right? Not just people that are trying to hide, because like we were talking about, people maybe just wanting to hide their Bitcoin transactions because, well, they don't want to discuss with people in their lives what they're doing. It may not be anything nefarious. Right, so that's kind of what you're geared toward, or am I wrong about that?
Well, That's why I'm trying to keep it there. But now, like right now, I got, I'm talking to a lawyer and stuff like that, and he's telling me, well, okay, suppose we can find a couple of wallets from JP Morgan. Suppose we get a couple of wallets from other Wall Street people. Now we can start looking, and we can actually say, well, JP Morgan has 50 wallets over here, and we can actually track them to make sure that they're physically in JP Morgan's possession. And if you have that kind of data, and you're looking at other companies, what's their Bitcoin investment, how many wallets do they have, where are they located? Because, we can find out if they're in Europe, if they're in New York, wherever they are. This could be, another avenue, which, from corporate espionage, that you can actually use my tool for. I don't really want it to do that, but, if it's not illegal, I don't see why not, because if this is open source information, if you look for it, you can find this. What I'm doing is you can find it too. Okay, it's not magic.
You're making a tool that allows people to just essentially see already public data in a different light.
Exactly.
You're just helping facilitate it, basically. I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I said, I don't never cross that line. Okay, that one line after open source intelligence. I don't cross that line because that's where you can get into trouble. But if we give this tool to law enforcement and the intelligence community, what they can do is it's going to be incredible. Because another fallacy that we have is, well, if I go to Tor, the dark web, and do my Bitcoin business there, guess what, guys? I was telling you about the apartments, and the Tor address 8333. Well, Tor is 9001 port. And if you're in Tor and you have a Bitcoin server on Tor, it doesn't matter, because once it goes to the protocol, to that port address, it's going to give me the blockchain will capture that IP address to that whole node. Okay, so
because
I don't care where you are. Okay,
and here's the thing: if,
wait a minute, I'm confused.
Hold on a second. Listening to this,
hold on a second. I'm confused on that. Is it because it still uses the same port regardless if you're on Tor or not? Is that why?
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
BitTorrent.
After it's in, and it says, "Hey, I want to make a Bitcoin transaction," it leaks out that IP on that.
Yeah, BitTorrent in Tor is the same thing. The pervs out there use torrents to get their videos and stuff. The BitTorrent in Tor will give you the server and the client's IP address. So what you're trying to hide in the dark web, you just gave it away in that torrent. The same thing with all the technologies.
Well, also, like, I wanted to make a side note just in case anybody is kind of they think they're a badass or whatever. Like, at this point, Five Eyes, which is the 5 intelligence communities of basically the biggest intelligence states, Britain, Australia, New Zealand, is it America and Canada, right?
Wouldn't Israel's?
Yeah, I think Israel.
I was going to say Israel's got the Mossad's got to be up there in the top 3.
They see everything, no matter what you try to do. You basically can only add insane layers of stuff that they're going to have to weed through. That's basically where we're at as humans with this current internet and current system setup. There's no way to avoid being monitored on the internet.
Yeah, the internet privacy settings are really there to help protect you from other people, not state actors. State actors pretty much already have it in the bag.
Yep.
So yeah, it's.
Well, yeah, and I get that, but again, that brings me back to why I know a lot of people personally, and why I assume a lot of other people are trying to use Bitcoin or other, especially the other, the dark coins, the ones that run on the crypto note code. That is, at least from what I can tell, from my limited knowledge, but I've been talking to people who are a lot smarter than me when it comes to this, and they all seem to agree that the crypto code is more secure than
what the
Bitcoin.
dark coins I can understand, because that's their primary purpose. That's what they were designed for. Right,
well,
they were
yeah,
designed to be that much harder to do.
I think this coin thing's biggest effect is going to be with hyper localization, and I don't think a lot of people have really explored that that whole thing yet. But if you think about how much one Bitcoin can be divided off, you can really just have one person essentially create a currency off of his one Bitcoin, and that's what's backing the local currency. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, I get that, but I'm talking about from a security angle. My thing is that like I know why a lot of people go these routes, and they may not be knowledgeable enough to realize that you're not really that secure, and what Richard's program is kind of proving is you're really not that secure. Like you can be found. But a lot of people go to that route because they're trying to be anonymous. And again, there's one word that you used before, and it's a trigger word for me, unfortunately. But when I hear the word illegal, it's like, well, yeah, like if they're up to quote unquote illegal things, well, again, but what does that mean though? Because there's so many things that are illegal that I don't think are wrong, and I think people should have every right to be able to hide what they're doing and who they're interacting with and what they're purchasing and what they're using it for, as long as they're not harming anybody else. I don't give a rat's ass if it's legal or not. That's my worry, because like you said, you can't control a lot of this stuff, and you're trying to keep it away. But in the hands of law enforcement and the intelligence community, could they do a lot of good? Sure, they could. Could they also make our lives a living fucking hell worse than it already is? Oh, yeah, they absolutely can, and likely will.
Location. We got to shut that down.
That's what I worry about. Yeah, because like if I'm running a business that I'm running, say, off the books because I don't want to be, if I'm receiving Bitcoin for payment because, well, I don't think that Uncle Sam has any right to the fruits of my labor, then I could be targeted by something like this, which, I understand the limitations of Bitcoin's anonymity. I fully understand that, but hey, it's the best thing I got going for me right now. So,
let me bust your bubble over here, okay? Just about every coin that's out there has to run on top of the network. If it runs on a peer-to-peer network, which most of them do, then they are all open. In other words, the IP addresses of your wallets will be available because the network has to know A to B. You can't get around that. You can't get around that, and that's like my daughter's telling me. Well, Daddy, people could spoof an IP address. Well, you can spoof your IP address all you want to, but when you connect to Cox Cable knows who you are.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Time Warner knows
a way
who
back.
you are,
There is
and if you don't
always
think
a way
there
back.
is a monopolization movement for IP service providers, you're crazy, because there is.
Oh no, I'm not. I don't doubt that, and I'm not saying that these things aren't, but I'm saying handing over tools that make the job easier directly to the bludgies, as I now like to call them, thanks to Rayo, is not my idea of a good time. Why make it easier for them to steal my shit?
Yeah, at this point, At this point in the game, they can algorithmically, or anyone who gets to this power level can algorithmically remove anyone on planet Earth via, a targeted drone strike. So
And it's not even their final form.
And that's really, yeah, exactly, Andre. It's going to be a laser beam one day where it's just, and you're gone and no one knows. It's like, well, he's just gone. So trust me, all we can do is try to get a mass adoption going, or keep brooding this Bitcoin thing here, in my opinion, this cryptocurrency world. Let's keep brooding it, keep building it and stronger, because it can be the thing that saves humanity. Because when this central banking bubble does pop, a lot of people are going to die if there isn't something there immediately.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And Bitcoin and local coins, and everything. Look at if Walmart started saying you only can use Walmart cash inside Walmart or whatever, it would be the same thing. If you went to a private town and they only used this current cryptocurrency, none of the shops took any other currency, what would you do?
I'd live in Steamtown. That's where I'd live.
Well, let me add something else to and I can say this and I feel comfortable. The IRS and Bitcoin, watch out.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about for the longest time. Once I started to become aware of Bitcoin and the blockchain, was eventually they're going to come after it. The government hates leaving money that it hasn't stolen yet unturned. So,
yeah, I was trying to make a buck, okay, guys. So don't blame me, but it's a fact. And the more crypto coins get accepted throughout the world, because you can't stop it. I really don't believe that. The more law enforcement will be forced to look at it. I mean, we can't get away from that in a sense. But
and I've long contended. I'm going to let you finish that. I've long contended that once the drug dealer, the street level drug dealer, is in full on acceptance mode of Bitcoin, then it blows. That's the actual blow off, the mass adoption blow off, when that starts happening. When your heroin dealer's like, I need Bitcoin, homie.
Yeah, but we can't do it at the Medical Marijuana Center over here in Rhode Island. So come on, you know.
Well, because that's regulated and stuff.
Hey, we're trying.
But you know, the guy selling crack is not worried about regulations.
Exactly. Well, exactly. And
when he can go pick up a burner phone, put a wallet on it, and then start taking deals, no one knows what the hell's going on after that. That it gets transferred to another guy, and then it gets split off, and it's over. So
if I capture your IP address from your phone, guess what? I will also probably know your cell tower, and I will probably know your IEN number and your phone number. So this is how intricate, how much information is out there. Mm-hmm. And whether somebody, builds a tool like I did to extract it, it's going to happen. Now, I'm not the only guy out there with the super brain, okay? I don't give myself that much credit. I know I'm smart, but not that smart, because other people will follow what I'm doing and will make it better.
Yeah, every time you think you're smart, someone comes along and just blows you the hell out, and you're like, wow.
Yeah,
that's what I love about human ingenuity and innovation. But
like I don't want to know what IQ Julian Assange is running at. You know what I'm saying?
68. It's all been coincidence.
Oh yeah, he's just luck. He's just like Mr.
He's like Forrest Gump. He's like Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
You guys are being nice, okay?
It's just.
No. Julian Assange is he's crazy, man. He's a wild one. So get into the kind of the meat and potatoes of what of how people should be securing their Bitcoins and what they should be using for wallets and whatnot in your opinion.
I saw on the article you mentioned a BIP32 Klee wallet.
Yeah. I did one of those actually for JP Morgan, and it's great because the BIP32 deterministic wallet is kind of like really cool, because you have your master wallet has one address, and now you do that one backup, and now from that master wallet and its private key, you can create millions of sub wallets, assign them, let's say one goes to accounting, one goes to advertisement. You can give away, certain rules on these wallets. How much can they spend? What's the transaction limits coming in or going out? Mm-hmm. And if you lose a wallet, so what? I can recreate it. They say if you got 15, 20 wallets because you're trying to hide your wallets, well, each one of those wallets has a private key. In a deterministic wallet, it's one wallet, one master key to control millions of wallets. So
one ring to rule.
Yeah, one ring to rule them all. You got it.
Yeah.
And so it's deterministic wallets are out there, and I think I wrote it for like a corporate wallet is what I was thinking when I wrote that code, and it made sense, that I can create a wallet and then make it disappear and then create it again. Because like one of the things I run is creation date of wallets. If you start changing that on me, because right now if your wallet gets lost because your private key is gone, you have no access to that wallet. With a deterministic wallet, I don't really care. I have it because I have the master wallet's password. So that's the reason why that to me is the best wallet, as far as that I can manipulate, that I can try to hide, that I could try to do whatever I want to, you know what I mean? But it gives you more control, but it is command line. You have to be more technical about it, but it gives you more control of your transactions.
What would you recommend to the if you will normie, just the average street Joe that's like, I would really like to start venturing into maybe even buying 20-30% of my savings into Bitcoin?
Get yourself a web wallet where you keep some money. and then get yourself a hardware wallet or a laptop, a CLI wallet that you can keep on your laptop in a paper backup. And play around, move your money, because it only takes 10 minutes for you to get from wallet A to your master wallet, let's say, to another wallet that you want to use. The web wallets won't give away your IP address; it'll give away the IP address of that particular service.
Yeah.
So there's one way to kind of hide your transactions in a way. Now, if you're always going to the same server, we'll eventually figure out it's like right now, if you see a transaction that has the IP address of 127.0.0.1, that's a blockchain.info wallet. Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
You can't hide it. But the blockchain is in South Africa, where the FBI and IRS can't get a hold of you.
Yep.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Oh, well, allegedly. Now, the head of blockchain.info, he at one time got pissed off because he was trying to sell some stuff at the beginning of Bitcoin times. And somebody screwed him up on it, and he published all the IP addresses that person used for all his wallets.
Woo.
So, yeah. So,
Oh man.
yeah,
Wow.
and so if you're trying to do something, and you better watch out what you're doing, because, I'll be the first to tell you, the technology offers. If people look in the right place, they will see your transactions. Whether depend on the wallet now, okay. That the wallet type will determine what I'm able to extract. And I want people with, $1 million wallet. $1 million wallet's not going to be on a web wallet, because if you really think that you can create a web wallet and they don't have a copy of your private key, you're a fool. Because, when you create wallets, you can create wallets for other people in the CLI environment. And yeah, I know what your private key is. You can't really hide it. So any web wallet, you better assume that they have a copy of your private key.
Yeah. Any centralized thing, you better assume that they can get completely into your stuff.
Exactly. So, manipulation of wallets. The reason why I say keep one wallet, your paper wallet, and, your one main wallet with all your money in one place. And then, put the money out there. 10 minutes later, you can have access to it, but use web wallets for small chump change side things. But over $10,000, I'm not going to trust a web wallet. That's my tolerance level.
Gonna need to rethink my own strategy here.
Yeah, you and me both, man. You and me both.
I keep all the ones that I want to spend on a mycelium wallet, and I've had no issues whatsoever. Now, I know phones aren't the most secure thing ever, but I mean, anyone can be hacked by anyone.
Absolutely. And the phone wallet to me is actually kind of safe in a way, because you really, it has to go to its own server. Whoever gives you that wallet, that server. But once again, once we have that server, it's a public company, blah blah blah. Not the LE and IC community can get access to it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only thing that you got to worry about. That's the reason why I will keep my main wallet, like I said, in my home, my safe, wherever I want to, and then transfer $100,000, $200,000 to that web wallet, no problem.
Yep.
Now, if you're trying to hide it, okay, that's
yeah. Go home, print off a paper wallet, get it laminated, and put it in a safe, a fireproof safe.
That's right.
And then you could all you got to do is just send stuff to that.
Exactly.
And put like a piece of duct tape or whatever over the private key, and waboom.
Cashing out is where you get caught.
What's
yeah,
that?
and it I think it will be like that until there's this either new coin that comes out that just trumps everything, or the state just crumbles and can't fight it anymore. Like they have to adopt Bitcoin.
Well, but a lot of
I think
companies
they're trying to.
Well, I know they are. I know,
but
especially local.
Yeah, but they have know your customer standards. That's a new standard in the financial world, where before you can get access. Let's say if you want to set up an account where you can actually link your bank so you can buy Bitcoins and sell them. That's what I mean about cashing out. Okay, your bank knows where you're going, and also that particular service knows where your bank is. So once again, cashing out may be the one place. I don't care if it's a paper wallet. When you cash out, it's going to your bank, because a couple $1,000 is one thing, but when you're talking about $10,000, $20,000, it's going to go to your bank. Okay, you're not going to go to local coin and in the streets of Boston over there. Hey, you got 20,000 here in Bitcoin, so.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I do know a lot of quite a number of anarchists that have come across who apparently have done pretty well for themselves because of the recent surge in Bitcoin and are now actually buying a crap load more, or even right now in cash. It's a lot harder to track those things.
Well, it is.
I would think,
especially when you like just put a good APB out and you're like, hey, if you don't like your Bitcoin, I'll buy it from you.
Well, it's not even don't like. I saw a lot. I saw quite a number of people, including a couple of former guests of ours, who were offering even at the high rate, at the high price it's still at right now, saying, "Hey, we still want to buy. If you're interested in selling, come to us first." And which is good. I like the fact that those people are out there. I'm going to need to use them soon.
My biggest excitement, Richard, has about Bitcoin and the blockchain ledger and a decentralized DNS really has been the state implications. These are going to completely rob the state from these things. These controls that they're going to be able to have on capital are gone. They have to almost compete now or lose everything. And they're going to lose everything, as you and I know, but Bitcoin has really forced their hand. Like, how do you, it's an unknown. How do you even think Bitcoin could exist 20 years ago?
20 years ago, I couldn't see it. And I'll tell you the truth, back in 2012, I really couldn't see it. Okay. We're buying pizzas with 20 Bitcoins, okay, to buy a pizza. So it was, it was $5, $20. It was, it was so high at $20. I loved it. So it was real interesting, but the adoption, the adoption from the black market to the white market, it's the one thing that's been shocking, but it makes perfect sense, the evolution. And I think that's like today, Bitcoin is not, quote, quote, a currency. You can own a Bitcoin mixing service. It's legal to mix Bitcoins, okay? IRS can't touch you, FBI can't touch you, because it's not illegal, to mixing Bitcoins and making money off of that. But once you get into a transaction that they can identify, that's where, once again, my tool comes in, where if we can track you. And depending on the mistakes you make, your operational security that you have. I mean, some people say, well, I log in and I go over to a VPN or something like that out there, and I can hide myself. But once again, I keep saying, remember, Cox Cable, Warner Brothers, they know what you're going, okay, to that VPN. So you're not really safe there, and your transactions are coming across. So,
and every keystroke, basically, while you're typing into any new computer with any new OS on it, is going straight to them as well.
Windows computers, okay, they right now, since 2015, they have a little chip in there that they use this little chip to identify the physical computer. And what they use is because if you're buying from Macy's and we know your computer is valid because of this physical chip, Macy knows that you are the right person. You really can't cause fraud. Someone can't really log in as you. So the Windows environment, since 2015, every Windows 10 computer can be tracked physically. You're giving it away. Macs don't have that. So Mac and Windows, another reason why the switch, besides having Unix at the bottom of a Mac, which is what I love, but the Windows environment is a different beast. Yeah, I know. You're Windows diehard. I know, but the thing is, what I'm trying to tell you is that the
Windows is a botnet for sure.
I'm not even the Windows diehard. I just can't stay. Every time I've tried to use any Mac products, Macs, iPhones, like anything, any Apple product, anything like that, nope, just can't do it. It always drives me absolutely up a fucking wall.
Well, Al Gore's on their board of trustees, so I can't give them another dollar.
I don't even. It has nothing. Well,
Apple phones you can keep, but the Mac, let me tell you, the Mac is one of the safest computers out there.
So if it's so awesome, why don't they have a right-click button?
Checkmate,
Ah,
bitches.
Nobody ever has an answer to that
You can
question.
buy
Nobody
right-click
ever
mouses.
has. Yeah,
You
but
don't
why don't
need
they
it.
come with one, Dave? Why didn't Apple just figure it out in the first
Because
place, Dave?
Don't need
Macintosh
it, don't need
pandered
it.
to the
No,
least
not true. I
common
don't believe it.
denominator. One button.
You watch out with that Windows 10. That's all I'm going to say.
I don't have
okay?
Windows. This
Oh.
one online says is still on Windows 7. Like I've turned off in there everything that lets it or forces it to update.
Yeah,
Yeah,
mine,
I'll update
mine
anyway,
too.
don't worry, Dave.
The laptop I'm running right now is on
I've got
Windows
some
7 with
stuff
the
with
same
Mint on
setup.
it and things like that I've fooled around with. I honestly don't have time to use computers.
One day I'm going
Like
to
I
get into
used to.
Linux.
But if you want to stay secret, if you want to stay anonymous, if you want to be able to do things that people really, you want to make it harder for them to track you, there's certain things that you have to apply. You know, one of them is, I would say, a Linux machine. Okay, don't use a
Yeah,
Mac.
I was
use
about
a
to suggest
machine.
Linux. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like I said, a Mac has Unix under the hood. That's the reason why I love it, because I go to that command line, and that's where I play. It's easier for me. I don't need the GUI. Okay, I could use that command line, and I know it well enough, the Unix anyway, where I feel comfortable, and I know that I can't be tracked if I really want to. My laptops are all Unix ones, Linux, Ubuntu 12.04, and I don't have the latest version, but I keep the older versions because, once again, I know them and I know it's secure.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, another thing is if you really want to go like super OPSEC, you can like go on Craigslist, buy a laptop, wipe it, only let it hit network at like public Wi-Fi's. Wear glasses and a hat.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Don't ever let it hit any MAC address or router or anything that any of your other computers have hit.
Once you go to that cafe, though, okay, what do they have behind the walls, and how many other people are hacking you? Okay, at that cafe.
Yeah.
Once again, you gotta look at those things, and a Linux machine will be safer for you, absolutely, because most of the people know how to hack Windows machines because that's the most prevalent out there.
Yeah, and please turn your Wi-Fi off on your phone unless you're on a Wi-Fi.
I try to. My damn phone turns my Wi-Fi back on no matter what I do.
I know. I think they do that.
So effing annoying. I try to only do it because I use the Wi-Fi when I'm at my house, obviously, and because I don't have unlimited data, and I do it when I'm at different clients' houses that have Wi-Fi I can use. But the rest of the time, I try to keep it off, and then every once in a while, I look at my phone and it tries to pick up some random Wi-Fi as we're driving by. I'm like, what are you doing? I've turned this function off I don't know how many times.
I leave my Wi-Fi on because I like to live dangerously.
You rebel.
You're essentially
I know it.
Every time you go to an open Wi-Fi,
You're
your
saying,
phone,
please,
you're
rape,
essentially
Mr. Hacker,
saying,
rape
"Hey,
me.
everyone, I was here."
Rape my
That's all you
information,
do.
Mr. Hacker. That's what Andre's saying.
Well, I live right next to Bradford Soap Factory over here, and in my Wi-Fi could see all of their Wi-Fi. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Oh, I understand that. I mean,
Yeah, and
I can see my
they'll
neighbors.
have
but-
open ones, open Wi-Fi's, and you can just sit there and watch
All over.
all the traffic. It's pretty insane. The piss poor operational security of like high level corporations is insanity. It
It's a
is.
joke. It's a joke.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it just has to do with like most people just don't realize that there's much more to it than okay, the router's working, and we have a firewall, so we should be good. Because I think that's as far as that thought really goes in, and most of these IT departments heads, like as far as the people that are in charge of the department, I'm sure like the ground level guys that are actually doing the coding and the programming are like, I can't believe we're doing something this stupid. But the people in charge making the decisions are like, oh well, we're good, right? Yeah, we're good.
Remember, hackers know what the white collar world will do. They know if you are CISS certified, I know what you know because I can see it in every book out there. So every certificate you have that you show after your name that you're the security guru, whatever you want to be, these are the rules that you follow. These are the standards that you look at. Hackers don't look at that. They look at the opposite things. What isn't covered in there?
Yep. Well, you're also never going to be able to plan against the hive mind correctly. Like I said, you can only kind of try to get in front of the wave and always stay in front of that wave.
Correct.
And that's the hardest thing is, there's always an unknown. I think I might do a solo podcast on the unknown. Like, there's always something out there that could just blow you the hell out of the water. Like Bitcoin is doing to the central bankers' plans. If there is a mass scale adoption of Bitcoin, it is over for them. There's no one to fight either. They can't fire a gun at anyone.
It's going to happen, I think.
Don't underestimate him, Dave.
They could, but it would be for naught, is what I'm saying. Like, you can't stop it. If they stop
You can't
Bitcoin,
stop the
something
Bitcoin.
else
You
will
can-
come out that can't be stopped, like Bitcoin was. It's inevitable at this point.
I know. I'm just saying that they can
the
kill
Pandora's
a
box
lot
of
people trying to make it
cryptocurrencies
happen.
has been opened. What can be seen, or what is seen can't be unseen.
No, and as the white collar market adapts to it, the more adaptability that Wall Street uses, the more it's going to be accepted everywhere else. And that's where I think Bitcoin will come to its own. And, the central banks is a different story, but I think that they're on the losing end of this deal. The technology is going to be, 10 years ago, we didn't have people looking at the cell phones walking into a fountain, okay?
Yeah.
We do today.
Yeah. In fact, if you can not look at your cell phone and be one of the only people looking up, it's like you're in the Matrix. I do it a lot lately. I only really heavily use my phone late at night or early in the morning.
Yeah, but that also makes you look suspicious to, the government agents that are probably watching.
Oh,
it.
yeah. I'm not too worried. I already look suspicious. I have a huge beard.
Yeah,
I'm
A
usually
terrible
wearing
beard.
Yeah, you're a huge.
usually
You're
wearing some kind of
you're a huge
anarchist
beard.
T-shirt.
You're probably most likely dirty all the time because you're farming.
Yeah, I'm always farming. I look like a hippie.
you sound like exactly what you should for where you live. You probably don't seem very out of place at all, Dave.
Exactly.
So yes, you not using your phone would make you seem out of place because everybody else is. Aha.
Yeah. There's not the problem with the phone thing is it's all it is a reality escape, and it pretty soon the phones and the cultures that people are building on the phones, essentially like the subcultures in the internet, are going to start reflecting in real life, is what I'm saying. I'm trying to get to here. I don't know what kind of revolution that's going to be, but I think that's going to be the next stage after this social media. Like, people that want to be together and are culturally the same are going to use the internet to do that.
Well, the internet or social media?
Well, both. And it's then going to start reflecting in real life, whether it be seasteading, whether it be privatized cities, whatnot. It's going to start happening. Well,
That'd be nice.
Yeah, that would be nice. I have a dream of huge seasteading colonies that
Yes, please.
philosophical ideas can be then tested out on.
And then we can watch communism fail again, and then hear about how it wasn't real communism.
Wouldn't it be nice to just get
Hey.
10,000 people that are all like on the same little square of the not square, but like the same little like really like sector of the political compass, all in one location, just to see what happens?
Yeah, it's called the Free State
Yeah.
Project. It's going swimmingly.
Well, no, yeah.
That makes it too easy for the government to find us then.
Yes.
Well, yeah, this is why you do it like way out in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah,
They
that's
can,
true.
they can still find you, Dave.
Volunteers only. You got to take this test before you come.
Yeah, they can still find you. Trust me.
They did this thing in Siberia. It was a reality TV show where they like just did an IRL Hunger Games. Like, you just couldn't kill anybody, but you could steal all their shit. And I don't know. I think that's going to be another big thing, is like these super crazy open tool, like people are like, yeah, I will go into the murder dome and fight. That's going to come back too with this internet and them not being able to stop it.
You heard it here first, folks. Dave's predicting that the advance of the cryptocurrencies and technology is going to bring us the Thunderdome. Awesome.
It
Two
will.
men enter, one man leave.
But
Two
this will be the
men enter,
Thunderdome
one man leave.
where you go like you go to the popcorn stand before and you
Doing wonders for the vision and the PR of anarchy there, Dave. We usually try to steer people away from the Hollywood
here's the
version.
problem.
Dave's going,
Most
no,
people
we're going to
think-
bring it on. Yes.
most people think that the state stops whatever they think they want the state for to stop it. No, it usually just gets worse. It's more of a double down once the state gets involved. So, like, let's say you want the state to stop gambling. Well, when they do that, then gambling like explodes, doubles down, and gets way worse.
Well, I wouldn't say it explodes necessarily, because I mean, obviously, prohibition will reduce the prevalence, but the intensity, or rather the severity of the negative externalities associated with it, increase dramatically. So it's like, yeah, there's less places where you'll be able to do it, but like those places that you are able to do it are now no longer safe. They're ultra violent, and you're probably going to get ripped off.
Yeah, only the super hard criminals are going to want to do those things.
Thanks, government.
Yeah, and when you're talking about not letting guys, they were upset. They weren't letting the UFC go into New York until like last year.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I mean, UFC is tame to what I'm talking about.
Well, looking forward to it, but we should probably get wrapping up soon. So
Yeah.
before we get going, though, first of all, Richard, thank you very much for coming on. This was a lot of interesting stuff. I hope people check out what you're doing, and at the very least, think more about their own security, because as you laid out quite nicely, nobody is as secure as they think they are, most likely. So
Correct.
But I'll give you the floor before we go, and please plug your website and say anything you want to say in closing before we get out of here.
I just want to say that please be careful when you use Bitcoins, because it is not anonymous. And, use it wisely and use it safely, but they're watching you.
That's right.
Bottom line, I can't
Fair
say
enough.
it anywhere. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, they're
You're not-
watching everybody.
You're
though.
not
Like I said,
paranoid if the
man,
government really is watching.
They've got algorithmic, limits that they've put on people for categories that if their system detects you at this certain rate, they just either remove you or start investigating you until they can lock you up and get you out of society. So be careful, guys.
Yep. All right. Andre, anything else before we go?
No. Well, actually, I take that back. One more thing, Richard. I blog on Steemit, and I was wondering if I would be able to do an article on your product based on the conversation we've had here. If that
Absolutely.
would be fine with you.
Yeah, that'll be fine. Yeah.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Because there's a whole bunch of crypto nerds over there that I'm sure would love to hear about this and get exposed to it if they don't already know about it.
Jeremy has my contact information, so I'll be glad.
Sure.
Fantastic. I'll include it. Thank you.
And I'll link all your info in the show notes. So, all right. Well, thank you again for coming on. This has been an interesting and thought-provoking conversation. Dave, I don't know what the update on our website is. I think we're still in a holding.
I need like
I think you gave us
$200 something to host it for a really long time for the cheapest amount of money.
I think you gave us some wrong information last week. I could have swore you gave out the .org address, which I don't think is the address.
.net.
Yeah, it is . No, it's the other way around. I think you gave the .net, but it is .org. I think it's the actual.
Is it?
I think we bought the.
You did. You gave the .net address last time.
Yeah,
Oh, my
yeah.
bad.
So
I
the
thought
new
it was
the new
.net.
website address that redirects to the old site, which the new one's still not up yet, which still has a sign that Dave promising a new website, is solpodcast.org. All of our Patreon is still up, and hopefully after tonight or maybe the next couple of days, we'll have some more stuff going up there on Patreon. Dave keeps toying with stuff that he's going to put up, so hopefully we can get him to put up some stuff too. This has been the Seeds of Liberty podcast, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.
Peace.
Seeds of Liberty. 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 Seeds of Liberty.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com. That's getcell411.com.
Are you sick of seeing peaceful people being locked away for victimless crimes? Instead of trying to get out of jury duty, consider taking it so you can do the right thing. A single juror with a conscience can send someone home to their family instead of to a jail cell. If there's no victim, how can there be a crime? And if the judge or prosecutor are keeping you in the dark, what are they trying to hide? You can vote your conscience instead of being a pawn of the state. For more information, Google jury nullification or check out the Fully Informed Jury Association at fija.org.